Okay, here it is. Finally got it finished. The serial port light flasher. It is flashing the street, and as you can see, that's why in the background the light keeps going on and off. And that's why you can hear that clicking noise. The clicking noise is the relay turning on and off. Once it turns on, it makes that click noise, then it releases it and it makes another click noise. This is because it's like a magnet. There's like a coil on a metal piece that makes it, whenever it's power, it makes like a magnet, and then that magnetic field pulls the contacts down and hits them together to make contact and allow current to flow. And that's basically what it's doing. Anyway, it's flashing off of a thing I got from Adafruit Industries, digital loggers. Let me get the box out and show you what it is. It didn't take that long to get here either. Got here today. This here, yeah, it's gonna keep flashing, and the light in here is not that best either. I wonder if I buy my computer, you can see it better. Anyway, it's a AC/DC control relay by Digital Loggers Incorporated. If you look for power switchtails on Adafruit Industries, you'll find it. There's one that's discontinued, and then there's this, which is the one that I have. Anyway, what it does is this here has like 4 outlets. There's 2 that are normally off. Then there's one that's normally on, and then finally there's one that's always on. So it gives you an extra outlet so you don't clog your outlets up. It didn't come with a long cord. As you can see over here at the wall, if I can get it. Actually, I'm going to switch this over. I wonder if I can. Of course, I have to. Sorry for the bad lighting, but in this corner here, it's so dark. Anyway, you see the outlet, the cord ain't that long. Then that red light on there, that's where the thing that controls it all. I have it hooked to the computer using a Cisco router console cord. It's just one of those cords you use to configure a router to type a terminal, or PuTTY if you want to use it, to the serial port. It's just using one of this logic pins like data terminal ready. You could use data terminal ready or request to send, or both if you want to have more lights to go on it. It can only go up to like 2 per serial port. It can only handle like 2 of them per serial port, since there's only like 2 output logical wires. I have no idea if the signal ones, the ones that transmit a RS-232 signal, such as TX, the transmit data one, will actually flicker. If it does, it'll probably flicker real fast. But then again, this thing here has a thing in there that says it turns on with AC, so it might actually stay on. Who knows? But it won't be as on all the time, on as a steady on. It'll probably go off a little bit, so if you want to keep it on and transmit it to that, it's not going to do good. Anyway, if you go here, I'll show you how it's wired. I didn't have a screwdriver that fit the tiny terminal block that they unhook from it, and then you plug it back in as you get done there. But I did find this diode. I was going to put a diode in anyway, so it can prevent prevent reverse current flow and to turn it on. Because if it does that, if it does do that, it'll stay on all the time. Probably. Because the way it's waited for AC current, it's probably going to handle it. It's probably going to think that there's still a signal there, and it'll keep on having it switched on instead of turned off. Anyway, I have 2 diodes on there. You do not need 2, just need 1. You just put it between the right polarity to between your device there and the computer, and then there you go. And then you can see here I have this white thing there. That white thing there is one of those, what do they call them, surface mount modules. I got it from All Electronics not too long ago. It's an RJ45 that takes it to screw terminals and lets you hook wires to it. I tied the transmit and receive together so I can know which port is actually the serial port with the cord hooked to it. And the 2 grounds, the 4 and 5 on Cisco console cord, there's like 2 grounds. It's because that basically Cisco, when they made a type of cord called a rollover cord, which means that if you have like wires going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on one end, it's going to go from pin 1 is going to go to pin 8, pin 2 is going to go to pin 7. It's like it's going to go instead of starting off from the first pin, it's going to go from last pin to the first on the other side. And so in order for them to keep the correct signal from going into the right places, they decided to do with the ground is to give 2 grounds on it. There's a green light that turns on every time the relay turns on too, as well. To let you know that if it's switched on or switched off. It also works up to 120 volts. You could actually, I bet that useful for that would be so that if you want to switch something, may like for example like my foot pedal thing. And you didn't need one, and you wanted to get it was all in one simple case. You could do this with it, and then take the house current cord into it, and then since there's house current there, and it'll turn on. The same way as it since it's with this thing. Like this thing here is just sending out 12, but I believe from this computer here, I measured it not too long ago, and it said it was 5 on my meter. But the thing is, RS232, theirs has to be 12. It can be 5. There's a range of voltages that make it, make it where it has a positive or negative, the logic signals on it. Anyway, if you go over here, I'll show you. It probably talks about that in this section here. See if I can find it. Here it is. Mouse. This talks with the mouse. Hey. PC serial port uses. There it is right there. See right there, it goes from -3 to -15 for the low part, and then the high part, +3 to +15. So it's not actually 12. It could be anywhere in between that range. And that's why this computer here does it by 5. It must be just the way it's been made. Either which way, it'll work. Let's see if I can bring up the program itself. Right there it is. As you can see in this console window, there's a whole bunch of D's, uppercase and lowercase D's. You're probably wondering, what does that mean? D stands for data terminal ready. If you see an R, it means request to send. Uppercase D, which means that it's on, means it's turned on. Lowercase d means it's turned off when the data terminal ready. Just tells you the pattern it went by, which is nice. And basically, that's it. This solves the software project called Holiday 232, which is basically, which is the program I made that stands for the holiday light flashes that flashes off RS-232 ports or serial ports. I chose serial ports since instead of parallel ports because like I said about the parallel ports, most of these adapters you find for that convert to USB, they're not made to let you plug in your anything into the parallel port like it will that usually do. It's basically just for printers. It only works as a printer driver, not a parallel port driver. And that could be a problem. Because then you don't got your input-output registers to tell what data you want to send with the bits you want to set on it, because they're not there. And that's why I want serial port, because serial port is a lot easier. So it's always the same. They don't have if you find a USB one, it's basically going to convert it to where it's going to have those pins on it, and it can just use this thing. Even if it don't have the register on it, usually Microsoft Windows will detect it. There may be a problem with something, because I read on that function, I was looking in the documentation on Windows API, and it says something about saying that it may return false if the devices, if the serial port don't support the modem control register, which is what contains bits for request to send and clear to send. Well, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. If you like it,